you see here is, I repeat myself now, is the historic development revenue-wise and also unit-wise. Starting here the graph in 2009, the first year after the economic crisis, 134 million of revenue. And when you have a look at the last full fiscal year 2023, we reported 1.45 billion of revenue. It's also worth to mention that the full development over the last more than 10 years is a purely organic development without any M&A transaction who supported the growth over the last years. On the right side, for sure, this entire growth was supported by two issues. The one is for sure constantly higher production rates. So when you compare 2009 here, less than 10,000, about 7,000 units produced, invoiced, and delivered to our dealer network. In the last fiscal year 2023, you see more than 31,000 units delivered and invoiced. The one was the growth of the entire market, but what was our own outperformance over the last years was not only the constantly growing market and demand for leisure vehicles in Europe, it was also supported by our entry into the market of motorhomes and camper vans in the years 2008-9, with a constantly higher product mix and better mix towards more motorized vehicles. Where again, 2009, about less than 20% motorized vehicles. In the last year, it was more than 60% of motorized vehicles. This was our lever in the growth over the last years, especially. To make it short, also when we talk about Knaus Tabbert Group, how is Knaus Tabbert Group comprised? It's comprised by 5 different brands. It's named in our premium segment, the volume market. It's the brands Knaus and Weinsberg. Those who are familiar with caravaning should or could know them. We have this Knaus and Weinsberg as serving the entire market. This means when you have a look at the pictures above is camper vans, caravans, and motorhomes. Weinsberg the same. They offer both all these 3 product groups, and we have 2, name it, niche brands. The one is Tabbert. Tabbert is a pure caravaning brand in the luxury business, the luxury caravan segment. And we have also the brand called Tab. Tab is a small, if not the smallest caravan in our group, also a pure caravan brand. What is the difference? When you say, okay, what is our difference between the other 2 listed companies in Europe? The one is listed in Europe, it's called the Trigano Group. There's a third player in the market, it's called the Erwin Hümer Group. Erwin Hümer Group is also listed, but not in Europe. It's listed via Tor Industries in the US. It's the European business segment, but the main difference, besides our quite complementary product portfolio, is also that we also run a luxury business or a luxury segment with the brand Morello. It's a German brand, not an Italian brand. It was also founded in Germany. And here we talk about luxury liners, motorhomes, which are not built on a light commercial vehicle platform like we have in Knaus and Weinsberg. Here we talk about heavy truck platforms, like here the picture is a Mercedes Actros platform. And you see here also it's a completely different price segment, where the premium segment ends more or less, the luxury segment starts at about 250,000 euros up to 700,000 euros or even more. It depends on your own configuration. When we talk about market position, and if you know the other named competitors, both Trigano Group and the Erwin Hümer Group run more than 25 different group brands, and we have in the comparable segment only 4. And with those 4 brands, especially with our volume brands, Knaus and Weinsberg, we are today and since 1 year, the market leader in Europe and Germany when we talk about annual registrations for all our product segments, especially in the most important market, the motorhome market, for semi-integrated models. We are with 12% market share, number 1 in Europe, and with almost 20% market share in Germany, the undisputed number 1 for motorhomes. And the same also for Weinsberg. If Knaus is number 1, Weinsberg is number 2 in Germany, or number 3 in the European market. So a quite strong market position with just a few brands. And we also compared the total revenues. We have 1.4 billion in the last fiscal year. The bigger ones have 3 billion, but with by far more brands. So the value creation on each brand at Knaus Tabbert is significantly higher than those of our competitors. And also the same is true for Morelo, our luxury business. Here again, two different models. Morelo covers more than 50% of the entire European or German market, almost 60%. And here it's also worth to mention that in the others 40%, only two competitors. So the entire European market for luxury motorhomes on a serial production basis. For sure, you can do your own fully individualized vehicle, but then we talk about a complete different production steps, and it's not a serial production, it's more manufacturing. And those vehicles have not a price tag of 250 to 700,000 euros, but more than 2 to 3 million. So in this segment of close to serial production vehicles is Morelo number one, clear number one. There are two other players in the market called Concord or Phoenix, but they both share 40%, the rest of the 40%. An often asked question, what drives the market? The market is supported by the current demographic chart. You see here the baby boomer generation, people between the age of 50 to 75 years. This is currently the core customer group. Those are our customers who investing into a motorhome in this kind of vacation of leisure and traveling. But what we also see when you go down the graph, you see the second biggest group are those between 30 and 50. And also for those, we started 6 years ago to create an offering to give them a chance to enter the market for leisure vehicles and for that kind of vacation. And I will talk about it now. This is called the rental market. When in 2016, we recognized that this age group of the people of 30 to 40 or 25 to 35 are highly interested in that kind of vacation, to experience it, to learn it, and so on. And so Knaus Tabbert decided as the first in the European market to establish its own rental platform, and we name it Rent and Travel. Rent and Travel is we're not a full service station. We talk about a rental business, like, maybe from Six Group in Europe or Hertz or Budget. We do not own any rental vehicle. We only the operator, the host of the booking platform, Rent and Travel. And with this booking platform, we connect rental stations. Normally, it's one of our dealer partners with the end customer. For us, the strategic importance is not to make business with rental revenues or rental fees. For us, it's important to connect the young age group of the 30 plus minus or maybe older with our group brands to connect them, to give them an emotional connection with this kind of leisure and vacation, and to accompany them over the years. And maybe once they're getting older and have their affordable income or the money spent, they will invest into a vehicle of Knaus Tabbert Group. When you see here some success figures, you see over the last 5 years how bookings via the platform developed. In 2019, less than 5,000 bookings, and also in the last year, by the end of the last fiscal year, or the calendar year 2023, you see that bookings grew by more than 20% to the comparable year 2022, and also the number of rentals of rental vehicles, or the vehicles in the rental fleets is constantly growing. And this number you see here is only a number in December. Normally, you can imagine, expect that the number will double at the high season. This means in June we offer almost 5,000 different vehicles via our platform. There are two other players in the market. The one is called IndyCamper, and then the second one is called Road Surfer. Road Surfer is a company located with the headquarters in Munich. IndyCamper is a company located in Portugal. And also here it's worth to mention that also these two big players are our partners. So if you go after the meeting today on the IndyCamper or Road Surfer website, and you are looking for a motorhome in any European country, you will be offered a vehicle from Knaus Tabbert. So we are in the channels, we are at the customer side, and we try to be faster than the competitors to create a brand awareness with the potential customer of tomorrow. A few words about some slides about the financial development, especially the last 3 years. You all know, there was a lot of newspapers and headlines about that the last 3 years. The caravanning industry or the leisure vehicle market was profiting a lot from the COVID pandemic. When you go back into the year 2020, we reported less than 800 million euro of revenue. So we almost doubled the revenue in the last 3 to 4 years. And this again was a pure organic development driven by constantly higher demand. Also, not only the revenue grew heavily in the last years, also our profitability because of economies of scale. You see in 2021 an EBITDA margin of 7% or 60 million. In those 2 years, EBITDA in absolute terms more than doubled, and also the profitability related to revenues performed from 7% to 8.6%. And also this is a very good development, and we are fully on track to our midterm target until 2027. We expect an EBITDA margin of more than 10%. Revenue grew by 37% in the last fiscal year, and you see here that the units sold performed similar, namely by almost 1,000 units. So it's less than 10% growth. The reason behind this, you have to go back into the year 2021. In 2021, the entire industry suffered from a shortage of available chassis, the base vehicle of all our doing. When we talk about motorized vehicles like camper vans or motorhomes, this shortage was caused by the semiconductor shortage and supply chain issues. And you go on the right chart, you see that in the first quarter 2022, we produced 70% caravans and only 30% motorized vehicles, 12% camper vans, and 17% motorhomes. We made our homework. We learned. We increased the number of suppliers for those chassis from one. It was Fiat Ducato at the time being. Now we produce motorhomes and camper vans on 5 different platforms. By name, it's again the Fiat Ducato as a very important platform. The Mercedes Sprinter, the Ford Transit, the MAN DGA as a light commercial vehicle, it's on a truck. And as the 5th partner here, the VW Group with the VW Crafter, and all those vehicles are light commercial vehicles. And those effects and the significant improved availability of chassis also led to, we mirrored more or less the entire product mix. Last year we produced only 30% caravans and 70% motorized vehicles. And again, this completely different product mix is the main reason, besides the higher demand, for the significant revenue growth last year. Another chart on the earnings development. You see on the left side the explanation why we had this dip of 6.7% last year, as an effect of that we hired the last almost 18 months more than 1,000 people. We have today a staff base of about 4,000 people. And we said we have to keep those people. Also, if we are short on chassis, we are not able to produce demanded quantity, are not able to work on the complete order backlog. We have to keep those people because we signed contract agreements. We knew and we agreed on a better availability. And this is the main and the sole reason why 6.7% last year and the significant improvement compared to 2022 in EBITDA. In the last 3 years, we talked also a lot about the order backlog. We had orders at peak time of 1.6 billion or 38,000 units. This covered more than 1 year of revenue. So here also we had to do our homework. What we did is we invested into higher capacity. We have today a capacity available, technically wise, of 35,000 units around. You see now we produced only 31,000, so we have enough available capacity for the next years. And the result also is that we are able to reduce the backlog to a normal level we were used to also before the pandemic. So an order book which covers more than a book to bill, which covers more than 1 year of planned revenue, is maybe good for any analyst to plan and model the growth over the next years. But if you're the end customer and you go to a dealer and ask for motorhome, and the answer is yes, you can have it, but in 18 to 24 months, we are not sure how many customers did not sign the purchase agreement. And this is why we invested into more capacity, into high capacity, because the market is still in a good shape. We do not see what others expected, the pessimists expected, that after the 3 years of booming market, we will see a decrease, we will see a cooling off. The demand is there. We saw in the first 3 months increase in registrations in Europe by 6% or even more. It matters now which country you're looking for. But the caravan industry is not expecting declining figures. We're expecting still growth rates not comparable with the pandemic years, but growth rates we also were facing before the pandemic years. Yeah, we talked about all the good stuff now, but we also have a chart and a situation we are not happy with today. This situation is caused by the availability of chassis. We placed a lot of orders at our customers for chassis. It was a strategic decision to order more than we required at the time being. The situation proved us different. We received all those orders with the effect that we had by the end of the fiscal year 2023 a negative impact on the working capital of almost 80 million. And this 80 million is nothing else than we had a stock level of chassis of more than 5,000 vehicles. Normally, we need to have a smooth planning for at least 3 to 6 months, a level of more than about 3,000 units, so 2,000 units more than required. We have them on the balance sheet. We have to work with those vehicles. And the clear focus for the current fiscal year is not on aggressive growth anymore. As I said before, we expect stable growth or stable development. The focus for the fiscal year 2024 is clearly on the balance sheet to reduce the cash in the short-term assets, to have a positive free cash flow by the end of the year, but nevertheless also to work on the market with stable development or growth rates and not negative developments. Yeah, this in brief about the business case Knaus Tabbert Group, and I'm now happy to answer your questions for the next couple of minutes. Please.
Excellent. So yes, everyone is welcome to post questions to the chat and the Q&A function. So in the meantime, given the company's strong position as a premium European supplier of leisure vehicles, what are the key strategic initiatives planned for the next 5 years to maintain and enhance this position?
I think there are only two pillars when we talk about how to maintain. The one is for sure increase our dealer network, work on the European market, close the price gaps we have. When we started 30,000 units in the premium business, we stopped at about 150,000, so we have about 100,000 euro of a price gap. So what you can expect in the second half of the year for the European market, that Knaus Tabbert will launch a new brand to close all the price gaps and to have also a new offering, not only for younger customers, for those with a lower income or lower available money, but also to have an offering for those who are willing to invest 150,000 euros or even more. So the one strategic pillar is brand strategy, establish a fifth brand in the premium segment, or a sixth brand in our total group brand portfolio. And now with, I said, also the European strategy, we have a second pillar. We work on that for almost now 1 year. We are also looking more and more into the Eastern European market, not into the US market. There was often the question asked, why not present in the US? First, the US market is a pure, mostly a caravan, a trailer market, a fifth-wheeler market, and not so much a motorhome market, which is our core strength when you compare the product groups. And the second is the Asian or the ASEAN region, comprised by 27 different countries, is more than the more focused and similar to the European market. So we are working currently on an expansion strategy, a network strategy to establish our brands, especially Knaus and Weinsberg, in the ASEAN region. We already achieved the homologation for 4 different models. We have a pioneer status in Malaysia as a hub for all our initiatives, and you can expect that Knaus Tabbert will be, in the next couple of years, you asked for the next 5 years, an important player when we talk about delivery of vehicles to those markets in the next 5 years. We again, as I touched the rental market before, we are not starting with a production there. We're not starting with a dealer network there. We're starting with a rental business there. So because this is the lowest kind of risk we can take, because we export vehicles to rental platforms, we create again a brand awareness, and once we see we are successful with these initiatives, we can talk about, and this is also currently the plan about the SKD production. So we will not intend to relocate an entire or have a greenfield in those markets. So we talk about semi-finished products here in Europe, ship them to Asian countries and have there a final assembly line, and that's it. Yeah. So 2 pillars: European market, new brand; ASEAN region, entering a completely new market. Yeah, and also here maybe with another word, we are currently market number 1 in South Korea, for example. Yeah, because for many years we are exporting to South Korea a few hundred units a year, and only a few hundred units a year we're market leader already. Yeah. So it's a growth market because there is no caravaning infrastructure. We talk about dealer network, service network, campsites, and someone who is producing or assembling vehicle there.
Okay. And with the diversification of chassis suppliers and a high share of motorhomes and campervans, what new markets are you targeting for expansion, and what future challenges do you foresee in these new markets?
I think one part of the question already answered. We look east and not west. I think the challenges. I think one challenge is for always the weight restrictions. Yeah, I mean here when you have to know all our vehicles sold or reported in our premium segment have one of the most important KPI is not revenue and EBITDA, it's the weight limitation. So the driving license P, technically wise spoken now. So a motorhome, a caravan is not allowed to be heavier than 3.5 tons. So you see also when you compare a caravan or a motorhome 20 years ago and today, we have a bigger air condition. We have air condition now. Yeah, we have bigger fridges and so on. The cooking fuel is not gas anymore; it's electric. So I think weight is key to reduce weight by many aspects. The one is for sure more and more features are fixed in or assembled in, and the second is also when you have a look now on all those e-mobility topics. Yeah, when we talk about e-mobility or electric offering in the motorhome, we replace gas bottles. But normally a typical caravan, a typical motorhome has 2 gas bottles, one for cooking and one for heating and the water, or one spare. We for many years we offer also electric version with battery packs because they are lighter in weight. And the second is for sure if the base vehicle for a caravan, especially in our caravan, is hybrid or electric, and you have 1.5 to 2 tons to tow, I think you reduce the weight or the distance, the maximum distance to drive by more than 60%. So I think if you start your holiday in Frankfurt going to Lake Garda, and you have to recharge the base vehicle at least 7 to 8 times because you have to pass the Brenner route, this is not the experience you demand for. So we have to create lighter caravans. We have to create lighter motorhomes to also act in sense of the customer related to all those e-mobility topics. Yeah. This is a challenge. This is a challenge for the next couple of years. E-mobility in all of its kinds. Yeah, electrification of the vehicle, the caravan, the motor, but also what is the powertrain in future for a chassis of our customers.
Okay. And what's your current guidance for the year? And regarding margin improvements, do you achieve margin improvements through cost or through increased revenues?
We have two targets out in the market. The one is the typical 1 year guidance and outlook for the current fiscal year. It's as shown before, between 1.4 to 1.55 billion, so stable development to growth, and an EBITDA margin of on similar levels to 8 to 9%. This is the short-term guidance, the yearly guidance, and we have a midterm guidance released last year in course of our Capital Markets Day in June. We expect for by the end of 27 a revenue target of about 2 billion with a profitability or the EBITDA margin level of more than 10%. You see when they create the next question how to achieve that. The one is cost, have a cost focus on cost. But the second is you saw it also in the last 2 years with a higher production number, with better utilization of the factories and a higher utilization, we will also be able to improve or report better margins. Yeah.
Excellent. So
and maybe just one last word from my side. Sorry for that now. As I said before in my presentation, we invested, and also all the major investments into capacity to achieve those growth targets are finished. So the growth means not 2 billion of revenue means not 100 million of investments. So the major investments are finished. We will have to do some smaller investments, and when we talk about investments for this time period until 27, we plan with 3 to 4% of revenue as a total capex, including all investments. Sorry.
Excellent. So now that the time is up, we finished the IIF with Knaus Tabbert. We started it and we finished it with Knaus Tabbert. So Manu, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Yes, I know that the start was very bumpy. I hope the finish was even better.
Yeah. Yes. Started strong and finished strong. So thank you again. And for our last words, we have Mario Hose again with us and Julian.